shut up. I don't care. That'll be a good cold open.
I hope we're in focus.
We are. Hum. I was mid-sip. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing. Dude, I am tired.
Oh my gosh, we're so wrecked. You want to talk about cops?
Yeah, let's talk about cops. Let's talk about, on the Gear Slum recently, they talked about cop rock. And there was all this back and forth, and they were like, well, maybe Creed is cop rock.
Are we going to talk about cop pop?
Well, I'm getting there. Like Creed is cop rock, or Three Doors Down, because Three Doors Down, post 9/11, they had this song Here Without You that was in a lot of like military commercials because it was support the troops.
Right.
I'm here without you, whatever, and different things like that, or like maybe Guns N' Roses is that aggressive appetite for destruction.
Yeah.
Whatever,
That's
right?
what we want our cops listening to.
It turns out the Alameda County Sheriff's Department's definition of cop rock is Taylor Swift's Blank Space.
I don't even know that song, but it's, oh my gosh.
Well, it kind of makes sense for a cop to love that song because on a traffic ticket, there are blank spaces, and that's where they'll write your name. That's the hook of that song.
Oh my gosh. That's such a stretch.
I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. That's the hook, Ryan. I did the hook. It's a funny joke.
Steve, you're going to throw your back out stretching.
Funny joke.
Stretching that hard to make a dad joke.
That was a great joke.
So anyways.
Leave a comment if you thought that was a great joke.
Some cop got caught and is in trouble for basically trying to silence people's First Amendment rights by playing copyrighted music when he's being filmed by citizens.
Yeah.
Which is as sketchy as it sounds.
But this headline is so great. Alameda County Sheriff Sergeant being investigated after he played Taylor Swift while being recorded. It's upsetting to me because it's like, it's one thing for a cop to, I get it. Like people don't want to be filmed when they're working, and cops are no different. Yeah.
But it is our right. It is the law that we are allowed to film them. But like, I get like feeling weird about that and feeling upset about it if someone's filming you while you're doing work or whatever.
Right.
But to premeditate and be like, oh, this is the song I'm going to play when someone's filming me, and I'm going to play it loud enough that it ruins their video so that they can't put it on YouTube because it will get, I think he assumed it would get taken down. Right. When the reality is it would probably just get demonetized.
Yeah, so the first time I heard about this was a few months ago. It was back in February down, I
just heard about it today.
There's a guy in Los Angeles who's a Instagram activist. So he goes around, and when there's
I want to make fun of cops, but now I also want to make fun of an Instagram activist.
So what he does is like he's got like his police scanner or whatever, and he's like listening, and so he finds out the police are doing something, he will go and stream whatever they're doing live to Instagram. And what he did is he went to the Beverly Hills Police Department. I don't know if there's more than one station, but he went to a Beverly Hills, maybe the Beverly Hills Police Department station, and he was live streaming when he went in there, and he starts talking to the guy at the front desk, and the guy at the front desk pulls out his phone and starts, and I thought this was very ironic in many ways. He starts playing Santeria, which
by Sublime,
oh my gosh, is ironic.
That's so
awful. I guess pot is legal in California, but for a long time, Sublime was.
I'm fine with pot being legal in California. I'm not fine with bad music being legal in California. That cop should be breaking the law when he plays that song.
But I mean, like when I was in high school, Sublime was what kids listened to when they were, doing things that were illegal,
Yeah, but then-
which is smoking pot or drinking or whatever.
That kid grew up to be a police officer.
Also,
and he still listens to
I guess
Sublime.
so. Also, that song is about when your woman cheats on you. You pop a cap in Sancho and you slap her down, so you kill somebody, and then you assault and battery your ex. So
No, that sounds like cop stuff.
that's a
Yeah, that's what cops do. No, isn't it like a really high percentage of cops are domestic abusers?
yeah. There's a higher, I think higher than the normal.
Right.
So with the Instagram thing, I guess it's different because the guy usually does a live stream. And so live streams kind of just get taken, like your live stream just gets cut. Like
Right.
Instagram cuts the feed. But yeah, like you said, in the case of YouTube, they're going to post this video. Maybe it gets a copyright strike, but most likely it just gets demonetized. It then goes viral one way or the other. And now basically this cop is saying, you activists, assuming it's monetized, we're assuming it's monetized.
Right.
You, the activists, we don't want you to get, 1 million views, $1,000. I don't know what the click-through rate is right now.
Right.
We want Taylor Swift to get
Yeah,
your
he wants to.
$1,000.
No, he really just wants to support Tay Tay.
Yeah, that's
He's like
what's
he wants to
happening
put
here.
money in her pocket because he actually really likes that song.
It's so bizarre in the video because he's like talking.
He wants to help her so bad that he's willing to do a cop crime on camera while playing her song to help her out,
Like he's so nonchalant and he's just like, and he stuffs it like in his shirt.
Oh my gosh. This is the song?
That was the song. I'm going to stop it now. I don't want Taylor Swift to get my money.
Cops. What song would you do, Steve? If you were a dirty cop and you wanted to suppress First Amendment rights of citizens?
Well, Ryan, what I would do if I was a cop and I wanted to ensure that this would happen is I would go watch that Rick Beato video where he talks about the videos that he's had pulled down from his 100 greatest songs of all time or whatever list. And I would pick one of those artists because we already know those are the artists that will copyright strike your song off of YouTube.
You think that's the ultimate plan, Steve. But if you want to be sure that you're going to have a video taken down from copyright strike, then just play a Rick Beato video.
Does he take down videos?
No, what I'm saying, because his get taken down or whatever. That's the joke.
That's the joke. I think I would play I got the best song.
Here we go.
I just thought of this right now. This is completely spontaneous. This is another dad joke.
Oh, great.
Kind of. If I was a cop and I wanted to play a song to a person at a protest who was trying to address me for whatever reason, I would play Don't Stand So Close to Me by the Police.
Oh my gosh.
Boom! Finger guns.
I think it depends on the scenario. But if I was a cop who is going to lay down a fully unjust, illegal beatdown on a citizen that doesn't deserve it, I'd be playing Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. You know that scene from Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Where they're beating on zombies and that's playing? Like, that's what I'm imagining in my head. That's,
the thing is it was like a very...
Like, get creative. Get artsy with your soundtrack choices, cops.
It was such a casual conversation, too. Like, the guy's like, well, why can't I... The protester's like, why can't I hang up my sign? And the guy's like, oh, you can't hang signs off of buildings. He's like, okay, well, I took it down. Why can't I just leave my sign on the ground? And I guess they're trying to say, like, your banner is a trip hazard. Like, someone might step on it and fall down and or whatever. And then it's just this back and forth, and the cop realizes he's being filmed. Or maybe he knew he was being filmed the whole time, and then he's like, oh, I'm tired of this conversation. So he just pulls out his phone. And then they're like, why are you playing that? Are you playing that? Like, they outright ask him basically, like, are you playing that because you think it's going to get this video pulled off of YouTube? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, so to clarify, you are saying that you are playing the song, so when we post this video to YouTube, YouTube will pull it down.
Oh my
and he's
gosh.
like, yes, that's why I'm playing the song. But even then, like before that, he tried to like wiggle around and be like, well, you guys listen to music when you're protesting, and like, I'm just here to make sure your protest like doesn't turn violent. So I'm going to listen to music so I don't have to listen to your music. And it's like, dude, like
None of that tracks at all.
you're on duty and you pull out like a 6-year-old, whatever, 7-year-old Taylor Swift song.
Here, like, I like following where I thought that line of logic was gonna go. If a cop is, serving, doing his job in or around a protest, which I'm fine with as long as they are being just and they are protecting and serving. If they're doing that, then they should never, ever have the mentality of, well, here's my counter thing to you. You get to listen to music. Here's me getting to do what I want to do. That's the exact opposite of an attitude that we want from a police officer. Like, they should be there. Even if the protest is an anti-cop protest, there should be cops there, protecting the peace, ensuring public safety, but they should be publicly neutral towards whatever the protest is about.
Right.
They are not there to be anti
For what it's
or
worth,
counter any
for what it's worth,
protest.
this was an anti-cop protest.
Sure. Like
Which kind of makes it like worse that a cop was behaving badly at a protest.
Yeah, you're proving the point.
Yeah.
Like cops, like I'm sure we have cops that are listeners, and if you do a good job, you're not crooked, you're civil and you're just, great. That's fantastic. We need good cops. But if your attitude towards any protest is, oh, this is against me, so I have to like front against it, like, you're a bad cop, because you are supposed to be professionally invested in protecting the citizens, unless they are, causing harm or there's beyond reasonable doubt that they are going to cause harm to other citizens. Like, it is not your job to counter protest when you're on the clock. If you want to have a cop counter protest, like a pro cop thing when you're off the clock, yeah, sure.
Do your own thing.
Go clock out and then go play your music.
Would you ever think about picking an ironic song? Maybe 911 is a joke.
That's not ironic. That's just literal.
I would have been really funny.
Well, you're saying it would be ironic for the cop to play that.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be ironic.
Or I'm thinking like
that would be funny.
I'm maybe thinking like and
like if the cop plays 911 as a joke, they're basically saying like, don't even try calling for help. Like, that's scary. That is scary.
I'm thinking well, and the other thing is they asked the cop, like, is your, like, we're filming you, are you filming us, like, is your body cam on? And he was like, yeah. So they kept asking him all these questions about, like, is this the Alameda County Sheriff's policy, like, if you're being filmed to start playing music? And he's like, well, we don't have a specific policy.
Well, they do now, I'm sure.
And, like, it's just so, this guy just had this idea, like, if someone's filming me, I'm gonna play Taylor Swift. And I'm thinking about
We're gonna get so many angry comments on
I'm
this.
thinking about these two instances: Sublime Santeria, Taylor Swift Blank Space. And one of the things that I think is, because what my thought is, why wouldn't you play like Enter Sandman? Metallica has a reputation for being a little litigious, and it's kind of, and I don't mean this in like a negative way towards Metallica, but like, if you're trying to have a conversation, Metallica in the background is really annoying. It's really hard to tune it out. Right.
But if you play a Metallica song, Lars himself is going to come after you.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. But thinking about that, I wonder if they are intentionally choosing these like easy to listen to pop songs. Like, do those types of songs get picked up by the YouTube filter more easily?
Oh, probably.
Because they're clean melodies, because they're clean tracks, versus
like a really busy
something busy
song.
and thrashy, and maybe it sounds like, oh, is that a?
Are you trying to make the case that cop was really smart with his decision?
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm saying, like, I don't think he's necessarily a Taylor Swift fan. You know, I think he's intentionally picking someone who he thinks is going to get picked up by the software release.
Here's what I'm going to say. Here's my closing statement. Maybe it'll be my closing statement. We'll see. Cops, you're going to be on camera more and more all the time. I say lean into it. Sexy cops is the future. Do it up. Do it up. Take care of your body. Like, really look at yourself in the mirror. Like, how can I be sexy for all these citizen cameras that are watching me? How can I go viral by being just a hot cop? I want more hot cops in the news.
Wasn't that like a plot of an entire season of Arrested Development?
Probably.
Here's my thought.
I feel like I'm writing Zoolander 3 right now.
Here's my thought. Right now, you and I are intentionally sitting in front of a camera.
Yes.
Trying to get famous on the internet. These cops have the opportunity to unintentionally get filmed by people who are going to put them on the internet, and then they can get famous. We should become cops.
Let's become cops.
And every time a protester comes up to us and is like, hey, can you tell us why you're doing this thing? We just start podcasting. Every time a protester comes up, we're just like, welcome to 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar mic,
Let's
trading money, Pixie Brew making.
Let's be music cops. Let's be music cops. And we'll show up to loud parties like noise ordinance issues, and we'll film ourselves shutting down parties because they're playing bad music. Like, this is what you're listening to, and then we'll put something else on the player. No, this is what you need to be listening to. Or we get called for noise ordinances for like house shows or whatever.
Yeah.
And we show up and we just critique the band's rigs.
You just go in and you're like, if you were running this Line 6 Spider on insane mode, your neighbors wouldn't have called us here.
Hey, maybe if your band didn't suck, no one would call us, right?
Yeah.
Huh? Think about that. Maybe practice a little bit more.
You guys ever think about bringing in some Joe Bonamassa covers?
Oh, hey, Steve. Steve, look over here. We got a real tough guy. A tube screamer into a Marshall. Way to go outside the box, bud. We're shining flashlights in the kid's eyes.
It's like some 15-year-old. He's like, my parents got it for my birthday. No, get a job, kid. This is 2021. There's lots of jobs available at McDonald's for $15 an hour.
Someone's got a really horrendous rig. We just kill the music, turn on the lights. We both turn chairs around backwards and sit on them. Like, listen, kids, we need to talk to you about the dangers of running this pedal chain. It's all messed up. What is going on with your life right now? What decisions led you here? Well, I can tell you right now, it's not taking you in a good direction. I'm going to scare you straight. Get this pedal board figured out.
You got some kid and he's just got a bunch of like affordable level pedals on there, and you're like, kid, you're on a dangerous path. This is a slippery slope. Affordable is a gateway drug. Today, you're buying a horse pedal, little Klon Centaur knockoff. Tomorrow, you're selling drugs to afford your Klon Centaur $8,000 silver horsey.
You may think they're cheap now, but what happens when you have 600 of them like I do? It never stops.
Yeah, and that's why we will never be cops.
I like where this topic went, Steve.
Yep.
We're gonna get some really confused commenters as this go. First, we're gonna have angry people defending cops. We're gonna have angry people attacking cops, and then we're gonna have people going like, "Oh yeah, if I was a music cop, this is what I would do." This bit has been a journey.
All right. One last bit.
Okay.
If you are like, okay, say you're working Mardi Gras. Oh, Mardi Gras could work.
Yeah.
Anything. So you're patrolling downtown San Diego. You want to disperse the crowds. You're patrolling PB at 2 a.m. when some three assholes are.
You're painting a picture.
Doing street music on Garnett next to PB Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
Playing Closing Time for 50 people who are pouring into the middle of the street. You're a cop. What song do you play to disperse the crowd?
I don't know. Do you have an idea?
I'm thinking like some Weird Al polka.
One of his polka medleys.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Have you ever watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
I have, but it's been like 20
There's
years.
a song in there, which is a joke song made for the movie, but it's called Puberty Love. And it's basically the song that would have been made to spoof, a Bieber, but it was made in the 70s,
See, I was going to say maybe I'd play some Bieber, but like, I think that like right now, like the party crowd that like
I'd play freaking Tarzan Boy.
Tarzan Boy. There you go.
Here's one more thought from me. If you were a music cop, a guitar cop,
Okay.
what pedals are you running the siren through?
That's all you need. Okay. You run your siren through a couple pitchforks.
You get the Digitech whammy. You're all doing Rage Against the Machine stuff.
It's going woo, 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 and then it goes
I'd be sitting there racking the time knob on a delay.
Yeah. What is that? Like you're just a cop rolling down the street, but all of a sudden everyone's dispersing because I think there's an alien invasion.
No, just that slow, full depth jet flange on the siren. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, guys.
This ad was sent to us by Joel Brodeau. I have no idea if I said the last name right.
Oh, I'm going to give you a real fun second name later.
Oh, okay. I feel threatened now, Steve. Steve just threatened me with a name.
Lego as a viable design material. YouTuber uses 2,000 Lego bricks to build a functioning bass guitar. It would be unfair to characterization.
Don't even bother reading the whole article because I didn't even screen grab it all.
This is Burl's art. So this is the guy who does this sort of thing all the time.
Yeah.
And he's done it again. He made a guitar out of objects that aren't usually used for making a guitar.
This time it was more something else than just resin, because usually it's just a lot of resin with stuff floating in it. My comment on this.
Yep.
I feel like he cheated. I know his whole thing is cutting things out and routing them and making a guitar out of that object. But I want to see a Lego based guitar where you don't cut the edges. Like there are so many Lego pieces these days. You could 100% build an electric guitar, bass, whatever, out of Lego pieces without having to cut the edges to get all the bumpy parts off the edge. Like that's what I want to see. I really like the pattern that he did. This kind of like this bursty quilt sort of pattern is super fun. It looks really, really cool. But I want to see someone really do it. Like actually build it out of Legos instead of just building a sheet of material out of Lego and then cutting it.
Here's what I want to know.
Are you going to go my way?
Do you think you could mount the neck to this without wood reinforcement?
Yeah, but it would have to be a Lego neck that just snaps in.
You don't think you could use like a wood neck and just like...
No, I know what you mean. You know what? If you're gluing the pieces together, I think it would hold a neck just fine.
Yeah.
I think Legos are strong enough to hold the tension of a neck if you get the body thick enough. This looks like it's 5 Lego dots thick.
Yeah.
What are those called? I feel like I should know what those are actually called, but you know what I mean. The Lego dots is 5 of those thick. I feel like you would need, because he used a layer of single thick Lego on top of 2 layers of double thick Lego. To get that, I feel like you would need to layer 5 layers of the single to get enough plastic strength to do that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I played with Legos a lot as a kid, so I do think in Legos. I just don't know the names for them anymore.
How many Lego dots tall are you?
I don't know. I don't even know where that question is coming from.
Because you're just saying like this is 5 Lego dots high. I'm like, how many Lego dots high are...
You see what I'm saying, right?
I know what you're saying.
But I think about Lego construction as like what it would bring structurally, like
Right.
if you want a lot of layers of the smallest brick size to have the most strength.
Yeah.
A lot of layers of the smallest size, but the longest pieces to get strength.
You need to kind of like cross.
And like cross hatch them.
I was going to say, you're going to need to like cross hatch them, which might also be part of why
But that just addresses
you wouldn't do it that way.
the core strength of the
Right.
build. I'm thinking about the edge treatment as well to avoid having, bumpy parts on the edges. There's all sorts of smooth parts now that you could use to wrap around the guitar in creative ways. So I want to see that done. I want to see an honest to goodness Lego built guitar. The part with the neck joint, the neck heel and everything like that, like I'm fine with the builder fudging that. Like if you need a center block of wood to make it clean, then do it. I get it.
Right.
But I want to see the commitment to Lego as a building material instead of just using it to make a blank that you cut a guitar body out of.
Right.
Can you guys hear my kids screaming? Because I can. I don't know if the mic is picking that up for everyone. Sometimes those noises just get cut off by the noise filter.
I think that's a pretty fair take, but I do think, again, this is a guy who's done like the pencils and
Jawbreakers.
all those things. This is definitely the most,
I want to see him.
I would say like aesthetically useful, if that makes sense.
I want to see him do a video where he said, where the clickbait thumbnail is, I made a guitar out of epoxy resin, and then in reality he made it the vast majority out of wood, and there was just a tiny little bit of epoxy resin, because most of the time he's just building a guitar out of epoxy resin and putting stuff in the epoxy, right?
I want to see a guitar built out of Lincoln Logs.
Lincoln Logs plus epoxy, it's doable.
Nope, just Lincoln Logs.
No, that's not doable. I don't think you could make that happen. I should do one of these videos.
Yeah.
Where we build a guitar out of Lego, only it's the off-brand Lego.
Oh, jeez.
So it's an off-brand Lego guitar video of this Lego brand guitar video.
You should build a guitar out of affordable pedals. That makes me think of when they did, I think it was, again, same guy who did the, or maybe a different guy, because there are a couple of different people that did the, built a guitar out of iPhones.
Right.
And I think had to like remove all the batteries from it so it didn't explode.
So toxic.
Yeah.
Just my skin hurts thinking about that guitar. Ugh. No, thank you. All right, you want to take us to the money zone, Steve?
Yeah, this first, you can
do it. I believe in you.
This week's sponsor of this episode, number 386 of 60 Cycle Hum, is Chase Bliss Audio. Makers of pedals more creative than you are, Chase Bliss hails from the great state of Minnesota. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, Steve?
I went to a diner.
You did?
In St. Paul, and I said, hey, can I have a large Coke? And they said, no, here we only serve mini sodas.
Miniature sodas?
Yeah, that's the joke. So Chase Bliss Audio, tonal recall, red knob.
I don't get the joke.
Red knob model.
And I've got the Dark World here.
That's a reverb.
Yeah, this is a really great reverb. It's their only pedal that doesn't have an analog heart. It has a digital heart and a digital brain.
They're doing some kind of dip switch contest right now. Check it out on their Instagram. I looked at it, but I don't know. Yeah, but that's what it was, how you dip.
I think what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put your hand upon your hip. And when you dip, they dip, we dip.
All right, go check it out. ChasePlusAudio.com. Thanks for sponsoring the show. All right, man. What's new? What is new in your world? What's shaking? What's grooving?
Man, what's shaking and grooving? Steve wants to know.
That's a Tone Jerks reference.
I'm working up towards a very busy time, and I'm feeling nervous about it.
You're talking about Summer NAMM?
I'm talking about Summer NAMM. I'm also talking about a week that I'm going into where my wife this is fun. This is great. She's going to take my son to Disneyland, and they're going to go have fun at Disney. But I'm going to be staying behind with our 2-year-old because she's not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
She would be too much of an interruption to their good time. So I'm going to be staying home with the 2-year-old for basically 2 full business days. And I got work to get done.
Dude, all of the stay-at-home parents right now are like,
I know. But like,
my wife's not allowed to listen to this episode. She will just die of laughter.
I cannot film with her being here while I'm filming. It can't work. So I've been thinking of content that I can film after she goes to bed and record it all with, amp sims and stuff like that.
60 cycle yum, but it's all frozen treats.
No, I was thinking I could take her out and we could do a 60 cycle yum together.
60 cycle yum, but it's all alcoholic beverages.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to take her to a bar. But I was thinking of doing like maybe Monday night or Tuesday night or whatever, filming finally the headphone amp shootout I've been wanting to do, or the amp and cabson shootout. I've got the Walrus, I've got the Strymon, I've got some affordable board solutions, I've got that Nux.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of stuff that I've been wanting to shoot out for a long time. And so my plan is to just spend the day being a dad, then film at night. She usually is asleep by like 9. So it usually takes me like 2 or 3 hours to film something. So film from like 9 to 11, maybe 9 to midnight, maybe. And then the next day edit when she goes to bed so that I can be working while I'm having, daddy-daughter time.
There you go.
And
You're
then on top of
the
it,
day being a dad, and you're going to spend the night being a daddy-o.
and then, Summer NAMM is coming up so fast.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten my rig together. I just scrambled those words up so bad.
You're going to HX stomp it again?
I'm going to HX stomp it, but I need to make all new patches for the HX stomp because there's new stuff available for it.
Yeah.
And also I've been in contact with Line 6. They want me to set up patches to sell through their marketplace. And so I wanted to have really good patches ready so that when I'm doing the NAMM videos, I'm like, hey, if you want these patches, click the link below. So now, like, I'm all feeling overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, I need to come up with some really good patches. Like, I can't just do the same dumb patches I always do. I need to come up with something good. And like,
just use the same dumb patches.
The pressure,
they work.
The pressure is overwhelming. What I was thinking about doing is because I usually just work within the HX Stomp and come up with stuff that I think sounds good. I think what I want to do is I want to record some very standard sounds of what I get here in room when I do demos.
Right.
And then take it upstairs and plug in the HX Stomp to my computer speakers and go back and forth between the recordings and the HX Stomp and try to legitimately model the HX Stomp after that tone that I get with other gear.
Oh, interesting.
So that I can really get it really close to what I normally sound like.
Right.
But they've got a Princeton model in there now, which I didn't have last time I filmed with it. They have a drippy reverb now. I think it's going to be a new game for me. It's going to be new sounds. So
very cool.
I'm excited, but I also am feeling anxious about the work with how little time I have left. What's new for you, dude?
Not much, but where'd my pen go?
I don't know.
I finally this week got to mess around a little with the Pod Go. Not a ton. Feel like I need to read a manual a little bit. There's got to be a way to get rid of the effects loop.
I don't remember, but it doesn't. I think if you just leave it there, it doesn't open up a new slot or anything.
But it's like a whole foot switch that that serves no purpose except for muting the circuit. I don't know. Anyway, But I was messing around with the bass one.
There's got to be a way to reprogram the effects loop.
I was using the Woody Blue, which I think is an acoustic 360 from what I recall, and it sounded pretty good. Mm-hmm. There are some things that I haven't figured out why they are the way that they are. Like for the bass, you can pick the Ampeg SVT Pro, or you can pick like the Ampeg SVT preamp, but then the preamp is like super quiet, so I'm like, I don't understand why anybody would want this. But I'm probably just missing something fundamentally basic on it. But I kind of like recreated some things using like preamp pedals for tone shaping, and then just a basic flat amp that I thought sounded at least workable, usable to get things going, and then I can mess around with other stuff. I was trying to find an octave, but I could only find octaves down.
Interesting.
Which is probably just because I don't know what I'm looking at, which is fine.
It sounds like you need to spend some real time with it.
Yeah, I've spent like maybe not enough time with it. But it's cool. It's definitely like super usable, and
right.
Definitely the other thing I don't really get, why is the power cable so short?
Is it? Oh yeah, it's got that
short.
Yeah. It has that kind of unique proprietary wall wart sort of thing.
It's weird.
It is interesting that is so short. I mean, anytime with those sorts of things, I kind of wish they just put the wall wart like mass inside the actual unit. I bet there is space for that in there. And then you could just use, a regular IC cable.
Yeah.
It would be so much more convenient. Power supplies are always a pain in the butt. Like anytime you have to have a wall wart, it's like, why are we doing this?
But I mean, it seems like a pretty cool thing so far. I probably am not going to use it live quite yet, because I want to really be able to dial in and understand what I'm doing. But I felt like I hit a few sounds where I'm like, I could almost use this comfortably live. So.
No, you have to spend some time getting to learn them.
Yeah,
and I don't really play bass, so it's like maybe there is a major barrier with them that I don't know.
No, it's pretty straightforward. What I really need to do, and because I just went into like Sandbox, turning knobs and figuring out how things work, and I'm like, there's got to be like 1 or 2 pages of just bass presets somewhere, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
So I just need to find those.
Yeah. I mean, once you figure out the system on there with the page buttons and the home buttons and stuff like that, and the knobs, you can jump from any Helix based Line 6 product and know exactly what to do.
Right.
So like if you can figure it out on the go, then if you decide later that you want to stomp or even a full Helix or something like that, you already know how to use it.
Right.
So it's kind of like there's a learning curve when you start out, but eventually it just becomes second nature and you just know how to navigate the whole thing.
That's the plan. All right, man, you ready to hit this next ad?
I sure am, Steve.
Great, let's do it.
This is Paul's guitar sent to us by Tim Cornfield.
It's on reverb.
Yeah. Did you load that other screen grab in there?
I did. It says about this listing. So yes, before anyone starts giving me grief or questioning what I'm selling, this really was Paul Reed Smith's personal guitar. I was going to frame it and put it on a wall, but I've run out of wall space and...
Oh, a likely story. I've run out of wall.
Even though I'm a PRS fanboy nowadays, I have to make musical choices that work for me rather than scratch that collector's itch. No doubt somebody out there has a wall just made for hanging this beauty. I
love that he's still hung up on the wall thing.
Get Paul to sign it. Paul traded this guitar from a dealer in Japan because, to use his words, it has a, quote, special sound. He then used it as his main guitar to record the album The World's Gonna Need More Love, and then gifted it to Peter Denenberg, who sold it to Mario Campa, or sold it via Mario Campa to me. I have the documentation, including Paul's May 2018 letter and a letter from Mario and my confirmation emails. Story. Think about owning a Les Paul Deluxe, once owned and played by and recorded by Les Paul himself.
This is a long block of text, dude.
That's no doubt Ryan of Riffs, Beards, and Gear is going to roast me for my asking price, but that's okay. He's just jealous. As usual, I include insurance when I ship, all taxes, import fees. responsibility, whatever. The asking price on this is it's in Canadian, so it's been converted to US dollars, $25,281. I'm assuming it was probably like $30,000.
Right.
I don't know if
is Paul Reed Smith, the man himself, enough of a celebrity to warrant an upcharge this drastic on a guitar?
You know,
if he was, this is going to sound morbid, and I'm sorry, Paul, if you're listening to this. This is going to sound morbid, but if he was dead, then I might get it. But he's still alive. He's still got other personal guitars, and it sounds like Paul recorded an album at some point, but no one really knows Paul Reed Smith for his music. They know him for his guitars.
I think that's the bigger problem, is that nobody knows Paul Reed Smith for his music.
And like, in a way, aren't all PRS guitars Paul's personal guitar? Like, he didn't hand make the vast majority of them at this point, but they've got his name on it.
Yeah,
it's like Reese's Pieces. Those are Reese's. Right. There's an apostrophe. All PRSs are Paul's guitars.
Yeah.
One day he's going to come for him, is all I'm saying. You have a PRS right now. You don't own it. You're just leasing it from Paul.
You're just borrowing it.
Yeah.
All your Les Pauls also borrowed from Les Paul. I just skimmed through the last two Ridiculous Reverb listings.
Oh, geez, Steve. You're doing too much work over there.
Hey, man. Ryan Bruce has not reviewed this, so all I'm going to say...
Get on it, Fluff!
No, here's what I'm going to say. When this happens, everyone who's watching this video now, you're hearing it from me. We did it first.
Go tell them.
And actually, I found a video. Remember the O.J. Simpson guitar?
Yeah.
Fluff did the O.J. Simpson guitar. You know what? We did it first.
We did it first.
That's all I want to say.
This is what Trogley feels like. When you've done every used listing and other people come around and start doing used listing shows, we can sit back and go, yeah, we already did those. What's funny to me is that when
now I actually am looking at this guitar. You know who the market is for this guitar?
Who?
Tyler.
Yes.
Did you already say that?
No, but I thought it. Like,
this has Music Is Win written all over it.
Like, we're about 2 weeks away from Tyler launching a video with the clickbait thumbnail. I bought a $25,000 guitar, and it's just gonna be him opening the case and glowing on his face, and it's just gonna be another PRS.
Yeah,
it's a PRS. And
it's gonna be PRS.
It's a PRS every single time. No one should ever be surprised when they watch a Music Is Win video. It's gonna be a PRS every time, and next time it will be this PRS, and he's bought a $25,000 PRS apparently.
This is what color is this? Like ocean?
I think it's supposed to be like faded denim.
Faded down. Yeah, I guess so. I had to check the color of my jeans.
Yeah. I mean, that's about what the crotch of my jeans looks like most of the time.
Why is the crotch of your jeans faded?
Next question.
Have you been butt sunning?
Let me pull up a Taylor Swift track while I answer that question.
What does that even mean?
I plead the fifth. I'd like to have my attorney present.
Well,
I'm trying to think of a builder that's still alive that I would pay an upcharge on to have their personal guitar. I have a guitar that was Josh Scott's personal guitar, that Revelator.
Yeah, but he didn't build it.
That's true.
I mean, I guess Paul didn't build
Paul did not build this. I would be surprised if Paul built this.
It's kind of confusing because it says Paul traded this guitar from a dealer in Japan.
It sounds like he bought his own guitar from a dealer.
Yeah.
Which is what Paul does. Years and years and years ago, longtime viewers of the channel will remember that I actually got to spend some time hanging out with Paul Reed Smith. He hosted...
And you spent that time asking about pizzas and burritos.
No, I'm talking about a different time.
Oh.
He hosted a guitar builders summit for people in the industry. and I got wrangled in to go film it. This is all on the channel. You can search through and find this seminar thing that they did. It was a couple videos that I published, but I got to hang out with Paul and everyone else. It was one where I met Joel for the first time. Chase Bliss Joel.
Ryan.
Uh-huh.
You're talking about Bob Taylor.
Oh, damn it. You're right. Holy hell.
You're talking about the Taylor Guitar Summit.
It has been a long time. Why did I think PRS just now in that moment?
I
It's
don't
because
know.
I was just hanging out with a rich dude. A rich guitar dude. No, like, but like, where
That's actually a good example, though. Like, would you?
Oh my gosh, I'm going
would
senile.
you pay a premium to own like a guitar that Bob Taylor?
what I was leading to
recorded
is
on?
that someone asked Bob about all these personal tailors that he owns, and like, oh hey Bob, did you just pull this one off the line? And Bob got very serious, and he said, I buy all my guitars from the company. If I took them, that would be stealing. And I'm sure at the level that PRS is at, it's probably the same deal.
Right.
He doesn't take them off the line. He buys them from the company,
Yeah.
or he buys them from dealers if he sees one like, oh wow, that's an exceptional PRS. I'm going to buy it. I'm sure every now and then he barters and bargains like anyone does.
Sure.
And it probably carries a different weight because he is Paul. You know.
I mean, the way that they are.
I can't believe I mixed
the
up
way
Paul
that
and
they
Bob.
are inventoried. I'm sure it's like it probably. They probably don't have the same amount of flexibility to just be like, oh, hey, yeah, I really like that 10 top you got there. I'll give you like 3 CU24s.
Right.
And if you send us back that 10 top.
No, because they're trying to work dealer stuff. Like,
Yeah.
they're not. I would doubt if that's happening. Like a company that size, they're trying to keep their books above water.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I guess maybe Paul is, I mean, I'm sure he's, well, in this case, it sounds like he's buying it back from a dealer.
Right.
So he's even,
Like it was
he's not
used.
even paying like dealer pricing.
Right.
He, like versus, you know, he's not using his employee discount. Is what I'm saying.
No, totally. I think he just bought it.
Yeah.
I wonder what Paul paid for this, and now this guy's trying to get 25 grand for it, 30 grand in Canada or whatever.
Yeah. We think maybe, I don't know.
I love that it has Paul's guitar written on the back of the headstock.
Yeah.
Does he do that to all his guitars? Does Paul just write Paul's guitar on the back of all his guitars?
Yeah, actually,
headstocks?
now that you mention it, you look at this guitar, and how do you even know for sure that this is a PRS? I mean, it
doesn't have the PRS logo on the
got
front.
some bird inlays, I guess.
It has PRS on the back of the tuners, dude.
Oh yeah,
And it says Paul's guitar on it.
because you can't just buy PRS tuners off of Reverb. Right.
And it has that signature PRS headstock shape that they stole from Gibson.
Yeah. And it's ugly.
If Paul's listening, we're breaking his heart, Steve.
I know. I'm just kidding. Like I said before, I actually really what I don't like is quilts. I just can't
Steve's
do
more
quilts.
into Afghans.
Can't do quilts anymore, but I do like this kind of blue gray.
Steve likes a nice duvet.
I like this blue gray.
I mean, I don't have any problem with other people liking quilts, but I have no desire to have quilted guitars in my life. I mean, it's a flame. It's not a quilt. Quilt is when it's the big chunks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a flame.
It's a flame. I like
flame.
flames. I'm not a big fan of quilts.
I like flames when they're subtle. Like if it catches the light, but I don't want it to be flamed from where they do the dye and sand sort of thing.
Every time I put on a guitar, I want people to be like, man, that guy's Johnny Storm. He just turned his flame on.
Flame on. I don't want it to read as flame until it catches the light in the right way. You know,
right.
that's what I like. Like a nice subtle flame on a Les Paul style guitar is pretty. On like a tobacco burst or a cherry burst or something like that. It just catches the light and shimmers. Like that's nice. I don't like it when it's just sitting there and you're staring at it flat and you see, you know, all the stripes of the Karen hairdo in it. All the low lights and everything.
And speaking of Karens,
Yes.
this episode is also brought to you by Big Ear Pedals. What? There's
By Grant and Karen.
and by Grant and Karen.
A Karen who doesn't deserve to be associated with that name because she's a real sweetheart. She's not a Karen. She's the Karen.
Yes.
She's one of the good ones. Here's the Loaf by Big Gear. It's a fuzz that's kind of got the soul of an overdrive. I like to say it's the low AF because it handles kind of lower range instruments.
It's got that big bottom.
It's got that big bottom end. It takes bass and baritone really, really nicely. So if you're looking for a fuzz that does chords well and also does great with your low frequency musical instruments, the Loaf is one you should definitely check out. Robert, friend of the show, supporter of the show, he got the whole set. Like, he even got a Frank. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, he does have a Frank. The Frank Overdrive.
Does he have more Big Ear pedals than you do at this point?
I think he does because he has a Frank and I do not.
I was trying to... Robert...
But what he doesn't have is I don't think he has a Black Betty / Betty White.
I thought we brought up... Oh, here it is. He gifted me a knob puller the other day, and I actually use it, and it works really great for pulling knobs off of guitars. You slide it down over the knob, and then you lock that down, and it allows you to yank the knob off.
Oh,
without tools. So thanks, that's Robert. Cool. I mentioned you, and now I have to thank you for this. I don't have to.
Anyway, head on over to Big Ear Pedals. Did we say that? No, we didn't. BigEarPedals.com. They put a bunch of stuff on sale recently, but I think it might all be gone. But get on their mailing list because whenever they release batches, that's how you'll find out.
Follow them on all their social medias, especially TikTok. Grant has been doing stuff on TikTok and it's fun.
I haven't been seeing it, but that's
like my problem. Some of it is completely unrelated to guitar stuff. It's like, here's just Grant being weird. I love it. Next topic? Is that what we're doing?
We are. This is somebody wrote in the Facebook group. They said, hey, 4th of July is coming, and it was just Canada Day, apparently. I don't know when Canada Day is.
Well, today is July 5th, Steve, so it's over.
Yeah, 4th of July was yesterday.
We recorded this before.
They said, hey, talk about your favorite American bands.
Oh, an American band.
I don't know if
there's so few.
American band.
There's so few. How would we pick?
Who was the band that said we're an American band? That was like the thing they kept saying.
They weren't an American band though. They were singing it ironically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's such a rare thing. They're like, imagine if there was an American band. Can you imagine that?
They would probably all have to go somewhere where they could stand.
That song is actually from a sci-fi concept album where they imagine a reality where American bands exist.
Yeah. And then they went somewhere where they could stand.
Right. It
was an American band stand.
They're coming to your town. They're gonna party down, something like that. Okay, so we'll read the whole thing. Since the 4th of July is on the horizon, your favorite American bands growing up that influenced your playing. Alternatively, since it was just Canada Day yesterday, your favorite bands. Oh, I should have read that right. Favorite bands from north of the border. Border. I'm trying to read it like a Canadian one. Border.
Oh, We're an American Band was by Grand Funk Railroad.
Ah, okay. I don't know. What, are there any bands that stick out to you that were influential to you that were distinctly American? Like a John Mellencamp or something like that.
I mean, I guess the other joke I wanted to make was America.
Wait, is John Mellencamp Canadian?
No, he's from Indiana.
All right. Why do you know that?
I'm pretty sure because wasn't that the whole thing? Jack and Diane is set in Indiana, that song?
Just because it's set in Indiana? I mean, John Denver's not from the Rocky Mountains or whatever.
He's not?
No.
Isn't he from West Virginia?
That's different than the Rocky Mountains. And I don't think
he's actually from New Mexico, which is the same as the Rocky Mountains.
Okay, but he's not
but Roswell's not really.
What we're saying is he was not from West Virginia, born and raised.
Yeah. That's weird.
John Denver is a goddamn liar.
What were you just asking about? Oh, John Cougar Mellencamp.
I'm trying to think
John Cougar concentration camp.
What?
Yeah, that's a punk band.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's John Cougar.
Okay, yeah, it's a punk band. That makes sense.
Seymour, Indiana.
Oh my gosh,
the city in Jackson County.
That was rough. You're going to get us canceled, Steve, if you're not careful. We're going to start using Taylor Swift to censor ourselves. Oh my gosh, where did you said he was from Indiana?
Yeah, he's from Indiana.
Like, I guess like so much of the music that I listen to is distinctly American as far as like surf rock goes. Like, it's not just American, it's Californian at its core, at its root.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't sit there and think like, American music. Like, do you ever sit there and just go like, oh, now this is American music?
Do you ever ask yourself if you like American music?
Yeah, I like American music.
I don't know.
Do you like American music? Baby. I mean, Violent Femmes is a great American band.
Yeah, yeah. Red Hot Chili Peppers are a very American band. They can't stop singing about
I can't think of any
where in
bands
America they're from.
that aren't American. Like the Beatles, famously an American band.
You've gone 180 from being like, I don't know any American bands to being, you know who my favorite American band is? ABBA.
Oh, man, you know what American song really influenced me?
American Woman?
Gangnam Style.
Jeez. American Woman obviously would be a song by an American band. Otherwise, why would they be singing about American women?
Right.
Is it bad that like this topic is so, you know, I like.
No, this is it. This is my American band choice. This is the one that I think of as like American band. I'll die on this hill. Let's fight about it. I'm gonna when I'm part of an insurrection. This is the music I'll be playing. The MCF5.
Were they American?
Detroit,
They're
baby.
from Detroit. Yeah, I was gonna say. So it's interesting. Is I think there are certain artists, and when you think of like what is American music, you do kind of either get into this like working class rock and roll. So your John Mellencamp's, John Bon Jovi, like Bon Jovi.
Well,
I think
if
is
you
very
ask
American.
me what is American music,
Bruce Springsteen.
my first answer is going to be jazz. My second answer is going to be variations of blues and bluegrass.
Okay.
And then
Well,
it's going to lead to rock and roll. Like those are the pillars of American music.
Okay. What I was gonna say is I feel like you know, outside of those working class rock sound, even MC5 Detroit like is a very kind of working class
Right.
city. Or you think of like country. I feel like I'm like leaning towards
Well,
like
I almost like
No,
faltered on saying country because I know there's a lot of influences in that go back to a lot of immigrant music, which you could also say for blues
bluegrass
and jazz.
and blues and jazz.
Yeah.
And you know, we can't forget the great American, the great country artist Keith Urban.
Well, America does their thing where we Americanize everything. So everything that comes into America eventually becomes the fabric of the quilt of America. And so these influences of, you know, traditional music from Europe and stuff like that, ingrained with, you know, kind of like beats and rhythms from our First Nations populations and our slave populations, and it all mixed together.
I think First Nations is specifically Canadian.
Is that specifically Canadian? Okay, but sure, like our indigenous populations, and it all combined together in this beautiful melting pot that birthed new sounds and genres of music. And that's American music. It's
right.
You take a blender and then you distill what came out of it into new things.
I feel like I've complained about this like every year.
Okay.
I think American music is, are you a musical artist who is from America? Right. I think that's the simplest way to think about it, or got popular.
I mean, I would venture to make the argument that British invasion stuff, Beatles included, is American music and genre.
I can kind of see that argument. So and then maybe this invalidates my complaint here is every, you know, we're talking about 4th of July and you turn on the radio. I really miss like the old time, like the old, when like they turn on the radio and they just did like, you know, 15, they do the radio program that they sync up to fireworks, right?
Right.
And I feel like I have this memory from when I was a kid where they just basically did like 15 minutes of like John Philip Sousa.
Yeah.
And threw in some
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
some Lee Greenwood and, someone singing America the Beautiful and the Star Spangled Banner and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like should be what plays on those fireworks celebrations, but people find that really boring. So they do pop music.
Right.
And so then you got like Katy Perry Firework, which I guess is appropriate because firework. And, a lot of country songs about there's two songs. Okay.
It's not 4th of July if you're not hearing Maroon 5 is all I'm saying.
There are two songs that I feel like I've talked about this before on the show, probably more than once, that drive me nuts to hear during those things. And maybe this is coming to full circle topically. One of those is Coldplay, Viva La Vida.
Okay, because they're not an American band.
Not American, and that song is about the Crusades.
Oh my gosh. But also songs like American Woman.
And they will play American,
which is a protest song.
But at least they play the Lenny Kravitz version. Usually,
it's like a song about dodging the draft and fleeing to Canada.
Is it really what it's about? I know it's by a Canadian artist.
Yeah, it's like an American woman got to get away from her. Like it's talking about fleeing the United States of America and renouncing your citizenship because you don't want to go fight in war.
Jeez, I did not know that.
What is American Woman is about.
Okay, so the other
and they play it during fireworks.
So along those lines. I guess like one of those would be like, Woody Guthrie, This Land Is Your Land, which is this classic folk tune.
I love that song.
That's, basically about socialism.
We sang that song in elementary school when I was in public school as a kid. We learned that song and I think it's great. I love that song.
No, the other song that I was thinking of is the song by, I believe, Martina McBride. Early in her career, she did a song called Independence Day, which is a song about a wife burning her house down on Independence Day to get, I think with the husband, I want in my head, in my mind, it's like with the husband in the house.
Right.
Like, but it's not like it's Independence Day because it happens on Independence Day, but it's Independence Day because it's the day she won her freedom from her abusive spouse. Yes, this is appropriate music for a fireworks celebration.
I am a fireworks purist.
No music.
I don't want any music. I want to hear the fireworks. I want to hear the full percussive clap of an explosion going off over my head. And it honestly really bugs me when I go to see the fireworks and some jerk like opens all the doors in his truck and cranks the sound system, or someone's got a boombox there. I hate that. Like, you only get to watch fireworks once a year here.
Yeah.
And I want to experience them in full. I don't need a soundtrack to them. Like every other movie that you watch has explosions with a soundtrack over it. Like, I don't need that. Like, play the patriotic music leading up to the fireworks, but then I just want to hear those sweet, sweet pyrotechnics.
Here's what I want. Here's what I want. Fireworks is normally what 15 minutes? Is it
something
15
like that.
minutes, 20 minutes? 10 minutes of fireworks. And so the whole thing's 20 minutes. We'll say 20 minutes.
I only want to hear music if it's coming from an actual marching band that I'm watching march around the fireworks being launched.
That'd be cool.
And and every now and then they have to like duck and dodge to get away from shrapnel.
All right.
Like, that's what I want.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I am. Lay it on me.
Okay. We started we talk about this thing at work all the time that we're supposed to be doing called like reverse calendaring.
Okay.
So reverse calendaring is where you have a deadline and then you calendar everything in sequence so you can hit that deadline. And so you say, I'm going to do this thing here, this thing here. So obviously that's also, I think, how you can do fireworks. And what you need to do is you have the finale. It's the last 1 minute. And then you go back to that 1 minute, and however many minutes before, probably 3 minutes before the finale, it's just silent, 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 silence. And then 3-4 minutes before the finale, presidential speech.
What?
Bill Pullman's presidential speech
Oh my
from
gosh.
Independence Day.
Oh my gosh.
And then
Well, if we're gonna
the
mix
finale goes, fireworks are quiet. And instead of saying like, this was Kixie presents the 4th of July San Diego, it just goes, it's just Will Smith, welcome to Earth.
if we're gonna mix Katy Perry and Maroon 5 and Coldplay into our patriotic music celebration, 100%, we should have the president from Independence Day mixed in.
Yeah.
Mixed with speeches from all kinds of fictional presidents. Like every time that Morgan Freeman has played a president, mix his words in there.
Oh yeah. Maybe
I want a montage, a medley of
Presidential
speeches
speeches.
from fictitious American presidents mixed into our fireworks celebration.
there's a lot of great one-liners from my fellow Americans.
Someday in history books, there's going to be the timeline of American presidents, and then right below it, there's going to be the timeline of fictional American presidents.
Probably already exists. All right. To answer,
And one of those speeches is going to make its way into the history books as like a defining moment for America.
Yeah.
But there's going to be policy written around the speech from Independence Day.
all right. Answering the other part of that question, who's your favorite Canadian band?
Ooh. I typically try to avoid Canadian bands at all costs, Steve. I honestly can't think of any right off the top of my head. Well, I can think of them. I can think of like Celine Dion. I can think of Bieber, who's going to be your favorite because you're a believer. I can think of like Nickelback. Shadowy Man on a Shadowy Planet.
I don't know who that. I've heard of them.
Surf band.
I'm not familiar with their music. And my answer is Carly Rae Jepsen.
Are you still a believer?
I don't know if I would ever actually qualify myself as a believer.
You
but
used to say you were a believer.
Then I saw her face. Dun, 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 dun. All right, you ready to do some housekeeping?
Steve is dodging the question.
Ready to do some housekeeping? Let's do some housekeeping.
Do you see what I'm
I
saying?
don't know. It's possible. Stranger things have happened. I got a very selective memory, Ryan. It's a psychological defect that I have.
Steve was a believer. It sounds like he's embarrassed.
I know.
Steve is embarrassed.
rough.
Steve is embarrassed to be a believer now.
It was when he was making real music for like 2 years.
Steve believed Justin Bieber was making real music for 2 years.
All right, man. You want to do some housekeeping? Housekeeping is
Lay it on me, man.
where we keep house. At the you can, if you want to support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/60 cycle humcast, or for as little as $1 a month or $11.04 a year, because you get a little discount. You can support this show just like these fine folks have done. At the $1 level, NJ, that's just the name. I want you to read this one, Ryan. At the $5 level, that top one there.
Well, the first name is easy. Deidre. Cerise Moen? Cerise Moen?
What? Say the first one again?
Deidre?
Pretty sure it's Deirdre.
You don't think that's Deidre?
I'm pretty sure it's Deirdre.
All right.
The middle one, I think, is Saoirse. And I'm going to go with Moen for the last one.
Because of the sinks.
Not making fun of the name.
We don't know how to read it.
I'm pretty sure it's a very Irish name. Those are all very Irish names.
Welcome to the club, though,
Welcome.
Deidre.
Yeah.
Or Deidre.
And then Rick Calhoun. Rick Calhoun is from Honey Picks.
Yeah.
Supporting us at the $10 a month
He's
level.
been in our community a long time, hasn't he?
He has. So thanks for supporting the show. And go check out Honey Picks. They're really cool. They look really cool. I haven't tried one. Have you tried one?
I am not a thick, fat pick boy, but they do look really cool.
Yeah, I need to reach out. Or
do you use
something.
thick, fat
I
picks?
do. I usually use like the Gravity, I think 2mm, whatever the classic Gravity is.
Yeah, you should try to get one.
I need to try out the Honey Pick.
Yeah.
I like the way the little textural things look. So thanks for supporting the show. We got one more thing to do. You ready to do this last thing?
Ad?
One more ad.
This was sent to us by Mark DeBrune. This guy. So Mark is, I can never remember how to say his name. his screen name.
Like MJD Brune.
So he has been going through every single video on the channel and watching them in order. And every time I say niche in a video, he comments like, if you say niche one more time, and the veiled threat is that he's gonna like quit watching the channel, he's gonna unsubscribe. And the first couple times he did it, I was like, who is this guy? Why does he keep telling me he's gonna unsubscribe?
He's tricked you. He left rude. Like he was one of the first people to get in on the joke of rude and nasty comments, but I don't think you realized it, because at least once you've grabbed one of his rude and nasty comments and posted it to Instagram and was like, I hate this guy. And I was like, Ryan, that's Mark. He's in all of, like, whenever you're live streaming, he's there. He's one of our biggest supporters.
He's got a perfectly like picked screen name where it's like, I don't recognize this jumble of letters at all. It took me a long time to recognize it was the same person over and over again. And now I'm amazed at how many videos he's watching.
Yeah.
Because he comments on almost all of them.
Yeah. So this guitar says Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul splatter finish. Unique in the world. There's no other guitar in the world that looks like this. There's a video, apparently. 100% original. They want 3,500 euros. And it's a splatter finish.
That's a lot of Greek sandwiches.
Mark's comment on it is, I assume it's supposed to look like a Jackson Pollock or something, but I think it just looks like bird shit. Does it pass Ryan's guitar art orientation test?
It does.
See you on YouTube. He says he's working through the back catalog and currently listening to podcast number 206.
Oh, man. He's got like 180 to go. Not to mention all the other demo videos that I've done.
I think he commented somewhere recently that basically if you can generate like 2 hours of content a week for another like 2 years, it will be impossible for him to ever catch up.
Oh my gosh.
Which, for what it's worth, like you all already generate 1 hour of podcast.
No,
content
I'm easily making more than that per week.
What do you think? What do you think about this art?
I mean, it's splatter art.
It's not what I normally think of as splatter art. It's almost cosmic.
Yeah, it is kind of cosmic.
And then there's a friggin' treble clef. Why?
Where's the treble clef?
Up by the treble switch.
Oh, yeah, weird.
Why is there a treble clef but not a bass clef, huh?
I don't know. Maybe that's the signature of whoever did the art. But this doesn't look like it's actual paint on the guitar. It looks like it's some sort of photo print finish.
I just realized that what the custom or the copy paste here where he said the seller rights is what's written here. But here it says Gibson Custom Shop unique ter worldet bestat gene an der Gitarre ter worldet die op deze lichte video von de Guitar YouTube 100% original with 2 A's. That's my best
I feel like what this guitar needs is contrast, because it's just kind of noise. Yeah. And I agree that for the most part, it looks like bird shit. But like it needs like bright neon pink DiMarzio open coil pickups with matching knobs and switch tip. You know, you need something to pop against this dark noise. And I think that would make it look more custom too.
It's kind of yes. I see where you're going there, but I almost want to go the opposite direction and just black out. Just go blackout. Even if your blackout is just double black open coil, like
right.
and then black chrome hardware, black chrome knobs.
I don't know. Like, I don't hate the art, even though it looks like bird shit. I don't hate it. Like, I think it's a decent representation of splatters. It doesn't look amateur or anything like that. But I just don't like it personally. You know, I think the execution is fine. We've certainly seen custom art Les Pauls that, well, maybe it is actually painted. Now that I look at it from that angle, there's little red dots that have a little bit of a shine on them, like they're 3-dimensional. So maybe it is actually hand painted.
So I think I know the answer to this, but does this pass your guitar art test?
It does, because the drips are going down
Boom.
when it's held in playing position.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, totally passes the art test. That's interesting that it is potentially hand painted, because it looks so flat for most of it.
I just got this news article, and the headline just says more than 100 guns, ammo, body armor seized from El Cajon home owner arrested. And my first thought was like, isn't that every home in El Cajon?
You know that the arrest was actually for being a meth lab, and the guns are just the part that made the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting splatter. Like, what I'm seeing is the white splatter was done first, and then the blue splatter is like a transparent paint.
Yeah.
And then there's red splatter on top of it as well. I wish that the blue and the red hadn't been a transparent tint that only shows up over the white. Right. I wish it had been more opaque so it would pop against the black. And then it would be more like a Jackson Pollock. I don't know how to say his name. Pollock. Oh my gosh. Totally wrecked right now. I can barely talk.
You want to get out of here, man?
Yeah. Play the song and get us out of here.
This is from Mark Williams. He says, I thought I'd send you these two songs. I guess to conclude, so you don't think this is worth $4,000?
No. I don't know. It might be. Who knows? I don't care.
Mark Williams says, thought I'd send you these two songs I recorded a while back on a Tascam 388. Love the channel. Keep up the good work. I click the link.
No, we're going to do bad work from now on.
Dude, we should do more bad work.
I don't know how to break it to you, Steve, but we have been doing bad work for like a long time. Very little of this has been good.
The song is called A New Road. There we go.
Sometimes it burns, but you work well, but I can't tell. Hey, come on, let's ride the highway out of this town tonight. Precaution aside, for once in our lives, a pin in an atlas, a roll of the dice, swim against the tide. Sometimes it burns, but you work well, cause I can tell.
Very strong Camper Van Beethoven influence there. I fully support that. That is an American band that I am big into. That was cool.
Yeah, I liked it. It actually reminded me of a different band called Jejune. That's kind of like a late 90s indie pop sound. Kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Stay grounded.